Okay, GM everyone. This is great. For anyone that's in OCM, they must have been thinking about how do I go get my Ordinals wallet. We're all getting super excited about that. So we're here today to talk about Bitcoin Ordinals wallet. We've got Jan from Xverse and we've got Mike Good Things from Onchainmonkey, and we're gonna go through it. And I'm gonna ask some stupid questions. So because I know nothing. So Mike, over to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mr. Yellow. So yeah, today's going to be, I think, a really cool agenda that we have. So Bitcoin ordinals are really hot right now. A lot of people are wondering, how do I get set up? How do I get involved? And so we've got an expert in that, Jan from the Xverse Wallet app, with us to we're going to talk through sort of the basics of ordinals. We'll talk about wallets, do's and don'ts. How to set one up. We got some amazing questions from the Onchainmonkey community. And yeah, I have a little bit of alpha about our OCM Dimensions collection, which is coming up on Bitcoin. So I think we just do a quick round of intros. So I guess, yeah, I'll intro myself real quick. So my name is Mike Chavez. I am an evangelist with MetaGood, which is the company that runs Onchainmonkey. And so I guess we'll go to Jan if you want to just give a quick intro real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks so much, Mike, Andy, Mr. Yellow. I love it. I love your monkey. And, super happy to be here, guys. I love this community. I'm a member myself. And, I've been interacting with Danny, Amanda, Mike, and a bunch of other people in the community for quite a while now. We're obviously all excited about Ordinals and what you guys are building at Onchainmonkey and MetaGood, because you are really kind of leading the charge. And so it's just amazing to see and be part of it. So for me, just a quick intro. I am now with Xverse. I am basically heading everything, on the partnership side, on the business development side, and basically just commercial side of the business. And at Xverse, we basically build the most advanced Bitcoin super wallet, meaning that, we support everything Bitcoin. So it's not just about ordinals. We're a Bitcoin wallet first. We started 2 years ago. And, you can obviously do all the different things that you can think of when you want to move your Bitcoin around, when you want to now obviously do ordinals, you want to store your NFTs, you want to connect to different applications, you want to go and trade in different marketplaces, et cetera, et cetera. So that's basically what we facilitate. And we kind of pride ourselves in having really great user experience. And so yeah, I'm more than happy today to share with you not just about Xverse, but ordinals in general, and just have a great discussion. So thanks so much again for having me here.
Yeah, so good to have you, Jan. Mr. Yellow, if you want to give a quick intro to yourself, Mr. Yellow is an amazing community member just across the NFT space and an awesome OCM. Yeah, Mr. Yellow, if you want to just give a quick word about yourself.
Yeah, so big follower of OCM, been around the community for a long time, really excited by some of the innovation coming our way. And great to see companies in Web3 really making a difference, like Xverse and Onchainmonkey, really pushing the boundaries. And I'm here to learn, and I'm thinking I'm going to learn quite a lot today. So I'm really super interested to find out some of the alpha, but also how the hell do I get this wallet and start to think about getting my OG OCM and my dimensions in there.
Awesome. Yeah, no,
I want the alpha too, Mike. I want the alpha too.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, I'm just gonna get a quick intro about OCM. So Onchainmonkey, we are an NFT community. We are basically a wealthy digital nation. So in our community, we're about building wealth and enabling our community members to make the changes in the world that they wish to see with that wealth. So we're a conglomerate of like-minded individuals, innovators, entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, philanthropists, and investors who want to make the world a better place. And as you've kind of heard from Mr. Yellow and Jan, really appreciate the kind words. we're all about innovating on Bitcoin using the Ordinals protocol right now. We inscribed the first 10K collection on Bitcoin back in February, our Genesis collection. And the way we're inscribing is quite unique. We basically are using code as opposed to putting images on Bitcoin. And this is important because this enables scalability for the network. So right now, anyone that's been paying attention to Bitcoin knows that there are extremely high transaction fees compared to even just like a few weeks ago or a few months ago. And so this scalability that we're using to inscribe our collections is very important because it's going to be very, very expensive to be using the Bitcoin network in the future as demand for the network keeps going up. So yeah, we've got several exciting collections coming to Bitcoin. Our latest one is OCM Dimensions, and I'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But yeah, let's get into Ordinals. So I think Jan and Mr. Yellow, I think we just start off talking kind of the basics of Ordinals because it's so new that so many people don't even know what it is. So we can just maybe go through like just a couple of bullet points of what is the Ordinals protocol and what is it doing on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I can maybe jump in and obviously there are some definitions and I would definitely encourage people, if you really want to learn everything ins and out of this thing, go to ordinals.com, basically the official website of the Ordinals protocol. And Casey Rodarmore, the creator of Ordinals protocol, basically he really describes it the best, right? Like he can go really into detail what this means, what is the motivation behind this, etc. At what stage we currently are, etc. But just kind of like go over maybe the basics so that like people can kind of wrap their head around it. I think what's really important to understand before we get into what does the Ordinals protocol actually enable is that when you look at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is a set of like 100 million satoshis, right? So one Bitcoin equals 100 million satoshis. And so Ordinals protocol basically is kind of built around this ordinal theory that you can actually number these individual satoshis, right? In order in which they were mined. So you actually can tell what is the satoshi that was mined first, when Bitcoin blockchain actually got started, right? And because you can actually tell the difference between these individual satoshis, you can actually number them, you can kind of make a sense of them, and then you can, with the Ordinals protocol, actually attach data to those individual satoshis, right? So the Ordinals protocol, as I mentioned, created by Casey, basically allows for digital assets to be inscribed on those individual satoshis, and so again, satoshi is the lowest denomination of Bitcoin as we know it. And so this effectively means that, whatever you inscribe on this satoshi, through this or thanks to this Ordinals protocol, be it text or JPEGs or music, videos, like there are actually people inscribing videos, even though like Mike actually mentioned that it's quite expensive right now because the fees are pretty high. And so the more you want to inscribe, the more expensive it gets, and obviously there are some limitations and we can get to it in the Q&A. But basically the point here is that whatever you inscribe with all of those limitations in place, you inscribe it on those individual satoshis, this digital data basically lives on Bitcoin chain forever or for as long as Bitcoin is around, right? Like obviously there could be the scenario like that, crypto goes away and, blockchains goes away. And then obviously like nobody can really help us here. But if we're really here in it for the long term and we all believe that, crypto is the future, Web3 is the future, then obviously Bitcoin is the longest chain that has been around for the longest. It's most secure. It has been tested the most, by many different things. And so basically, as long as Bitcoin lives, this data lives with it and on it. And so that's basically kind of where we are today with Ordinals. And because of this protocol, because of this innovation brought by Casey and obviously some other people on the team, basically now, we can do Bitcoin NFTs, right? Bitcoin NFTs, we call them Ordinals inscriptions, but obviously we can kind of like simplify it these are Bitcoin NFTs. You can actually do JPEGs on Bitcoin. And so this is kind of the exciting times, and probably you're in Onchainmonkey, so you probably didn't you probably didn't miss it, because Mike and Danny and Amanda, they have been talking about this for the past like 3-4 months, nonstop, right? Because it's so exciting, and because Onchainmonkey is also innovating so much. And so, I'm gonna stop there because I don't want this to be a monologue. But yeah, that's kind of the basics of where we are today, and why we're even having this conversation today.
Yeah, no, I think that's really great summary. Appreciate it, Jan. So just to kind of highlight some things. So basically, like, Ordinals is a protocol, but the way that it works is it's using a theory of numbering, and that's called Ordinals theory. So these sats that you're talking about, these are the lowest, and a sat is the lowest denomination of a Bitcoin. And prior to the Ordinals protocol, everybody thought that one sat equals one sat, meaning they are fungible. These are fungible tokens, I guess you could think of them as. And so people who own, a sat or multiple sats, they were interchangeable. Now with ordinal theory and the protocol, people using it, all of a sudden one sat doesn't necessarily equal one sat. And so there's this non-fungibility that's introduced into the Bitcoin layer 1, which is enabling basically a whole new application layer on Bitcoin. It's enabling NFTs on Bitcoin, which is huge. And as you said, just want to shout out, Casey Rodamore is the creator of the protocol. And basically he was working on this, I think, for a majority of 2022, and launched the protocol to the public earlier in 2023. And the adoption rate has just gone through the roof. It's been absolutely exponential. I think are we at like 6 million inscriptions right now? 7 million?
Oh my gosh. I didn't even check. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, we've seen the adoption just go straight exponential. CZ of Binance has been talking about how he is excited about Ordinals. We just heard Michael Saylor a couple of days ago talk about his belief in the potential of Ordinals, for Bitcoin. So we're seeing like the major key players, not just people in the NFT ecosystem, that see this as highly valuable. So I think it's such an exciting time to be part of Bitcoin, to be part of NFTs. I think
you just need an Elon tweet now, mate.
Oh yeah. If Elon tweets about Ordinals, it's over with. So I think that will come for sure. But so I guess I want to throw it to Mr. Yellow. Do you have any questions you can ask quickly on just what we've said, or have we got it straight?
No, I think it's really good. It's not really related to the topic, the one I had, but BRC20s have popped up recently. Are they?
Yeah, let's get into that a little bit. Let's get into that a little bit later.
That's what I thought.
We can do that. Yeah. It's it's all connected, right? So it's interesting about this thing that even though BRC20s, many people compared them to ERC20s on Ethereum and other chains, but they function very differently. And it's all related to Ordinals. So without Ordinals, there wouldn't be BRC20s, So we're basically talking about the same thing, about basically it's all connected, but obviously, maybe the use case is different, and maybe the hype is created for different reasons, but we can get into that later.
Yeah. So I think first, before we get into that, I want to talk about just like, why does it matter that this is happening on Bitcoin, right? Like we have NFTs on Ethereum, we have NFTs on Solana, we have NFTs on other blockchains. Why do we care so much? Why are we so excited that this is happening on Bitcoin? And I think it goes to speaking about, kind of what are the benefits of Bitcoin over other blockchains? Like, why is Bitcoin as a blockchain highly valuable? And so, maybe just get a little discussion around that. So just like the first, I think, thing that you'll probably hear me and most people talk about is that, Bitcoin is the most decentralized, most secure computing network that's ever existed. So just in those two properties of it, the decentralization aspect and the security aspect, makes it a highly, highly valuable system to store data. So you heard Michael Saylor talk about this the other day. Like if he wanted to put his will, for example, which is worth billions of dollars, there's no more secure place than to put it on Bitcoin, because as Jan said earlier, when you inscribe, when you put something on Bitcoin, it is there forever, as long as Bitcoin will be around. And because of the decentralized aspect of Bitcoin, it's likely to be around for a very long time. So it's also the largest market cap blockchain. So it has, it ranges, but it has roughly double the market cap of Ethereum. And we all saw last year and in 2021 what NFTs did for the demand for Ethereum. And so Bitcoin hasn't seen that yet. And so now it's going to, and I think it's going to be a really exciting time to be building valuable digital assets on the greatest blockchain. And then I think the last bullet point, and then we'll open up for discussion, is just that owning assets on Bitcoin is like, it's digital ownership in its purest form. So, when you own an Ethereum NFT or Solana NFT, a lot of times what you own is actually a pointer to like an image, for example, and that image doesn't actually live on chain. It lives in a server somewhere else. So effectively, you're kind of like one step removed from the pure ownership of your digital asset. On Bitcoin, when you own your Satoshi, and that Satoshi is marked, meaning it's attached to an image or a text file or whatever the asset is, you own that forever, and there's no middleman, there's no external server. So it really is digital ownership in its purest form. But yeah, I want to throw it to Jan and get your thoughts on why Bitcoin? Why does this matter so much?
Mike, I think you covered it pretty well, and I think maybe we can also shift the direction in a slightly different point, because I think it's also important. Like all of those things that you mentioned, like why NFTs on Bitcoin, are valuable, or at least perceived to be valuable, or why we think it's so exciting. I think you made a great list. What I think is also important is like, this is very important for the longevity of Bitcoin itself, right?
Yeah.
Like having these innovations, having people actually using Bitcoin, transacting with it, and being willing to spend it, etc. It's actually so important for the longevity of Bitcoin itself, because I think it's maybe important for people in the audience to understand, right? Because right now it's okay. Many miners that are mining the blocks that basically secure the chain and validate all the transactions, they're incentivized by the coin rewards, right? So for every block, they get specific amount of Bitcoin. And that's why they do it, because that's how they make money, right? But as we know, like as we kind of like move in the future, these coin rewards are going to go eventually to zero. Obviously that's pretty long time ahead. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but at some point it's going to happen. And so it's actually pretty well-known fact that by the time this happens, we need to figure out a way, how can we actually make sure that people are using Bitcoin enough so that miners and these people that are securing the network can actually make money in a different way, and not just depend on the coin rewards. And so this is so important, right? Because this is an experimentation, like who knows, like to be honest, like we cannot tell today that like Ordinals is the thing that is going to save Bitcoin forever. Like, we cannot tell that, right? It's so early to say. However, it's so important to do this and to experiment and to try different things and see what's going to stick, what's going to encourage people to actually use Bitcoin and, like do many different things with this blockchain. And so, this is something that is really exciting to me. Like when I actually understood this, that it's not about the JPEGs only, those are great. And like, I love it. I'm a DJ myself. I love to play around with NFTs, and I like to collect art, and I like to collect amazing pieces from different people and different brands, even, like we see Bugatti, thanks to you guys, and Asprey Bugatti, they're getting into Ordinals. So it's like just amazing to see. And I'm a huge fan of it. But when I wrapped my head around the fact that like, this is actually needed, like without this, actually Bitcoin, and even I would say kind of crypto in general, like is not going to function the same way. And so this is something that really gets me excited. And that's why I think Ordinals are so important.
I suppose it's worth touching on the fact that it's not without controversy in the Bitcoin community. If we were saying this in a Bitcoin conference, half the conference would probably want to throw poo at us.
Probably, yeah. There are certain people. There are certain people that will not like what we are saying here, but I think it's interesting, right? Because I think the narrative is changing quite rapidly. Because Mike actually mentioned it, right? So Michael Saylor is kind of like the maxi of maxis, right? Like he is a Bitcoin billionaire, basically. Like he has so much Bitcoin that there's probably nobody else like beyond Satoshi Nakamoto that has the same amount of Bitcoin. And so he's obviously very bullish on Bitcoin, and he wants Bitcoin to thrive, to succeed, to be more valuable, because otherwise he wouldn't make those investments, right? And so he's the maxi of maxis, followed by millions of people. And now he's basically saying like, hey, ordinals are great. Like this can actually make Bitcoin sustainable in the long term. This is one of those applications that can make Bitcoin sustainable in the long term. And so he's basically helping us to change the narrative that, again, it's not only about the JPEGs, we love JPEGs, but there is a bigger theme behind all this, and it's important, And so I think the narrative is going to change, and we'll see at Bitcoin Miami next week. We're all going, so we'll see what kind of feedback we're going to get from the Bitcoin maxis. But I think that that voice is softening quite a bit.
Yeah, there comes a point where people have to reconsider their positions. People get drawn out into positions just by their very ethos at the start, and then they start to work it round and think through it, and positions change. Nothing's ever black or white.
Yeah, 100%. You said it right, Andy. Nothing is always black and white. We need to try things. We need to see what works. And, sometimes we'll have to pivot, right? That's just how it is in startups in general, in entrepreneurship. So, I think just the fact that we have this experimentation, we have people trying different things, I think is just amazing.
Absolutely. And I think one of the most exciting things about NFTs on Bitcoin is we've seen with the rise of NFTs on Ethereum and Solana, the amazing communities that pop up. And, our community, Onchainmonkey, is one of those communities where we attract really amazing, like-minded people with shared ethos. And, when you get that many people together and you gather them online from all over the world, it's a very powerful force. And, we've seen some of the positive impact that we've done as a community. We've seen some of the positive impact that the entire NFT community has done. And I think when some of these folks on Bitcoin who maybe are hesitant or skeptical about NFTs, when they see the people that are involved, when they understand that these are like some of the best people on earth that are really passionate about, building digital assets, building digital communities, and trying to make things better, I think it's going to be an amazing force multiplier for good. And, I think we're going to see that next week in Bitcoin Miami. Like I said this, with Jan and some folks last night on Twitter Spaces, but it's very easy online to sort of like be divisive, to just kind of like be abrasive. It's much harder to do that when you're standing in front of like a good person in front of you. And I think we're going to see that more and more as we have more people from NFTs get into IRL meetups with people from Bitcoin. And that's what's exciting is you're going to see the bridging of amazing communities. Bitcoin has an amazing builder community, an amazing and really like intelligent community, and so does Ethereum, so does Solana. And when those people combine, we're going to see innovation like we haven't seen. So yeah, I'm super excited. We're definitely at the beginning 100%. Of a new S curve for Bitcoin. But I want to shift us into kind of like the nuts and bolts. So we have an expert here on wallets. So I want to get into like the nuts and bolts of Bitcoin wallets and explain to people, how do I set up a wallet? How do I fund it? Those kinds of things. But just real quick, like, I guess to start, like what is a Bitcoin wallet? How does it differ from wallets, like say on Ethereum? And I'm just going to throw that to Jan.
Yeah, it's Mike. Thanks so much for the question. And again, thanks so much for allowing me to share here. Like I would say kind of like my general thesis here is like trying to share as much general information as possible. And obviously I want you guys to use Xverse, but it's not, doesn't mean that you cannot use any other wallet. actually what we are going to talk about here today, it applies to basically most of the wallets out there that support ordinals today. Some of them are much harder to use than others, and we kind of like proud ourselves that we're probably the most easiest to use and kind of the safest wallet out there, because I will show you a couple of features that we have in the wallet that nobody else has, and I think it's really cool. But like Bitcoin wallets, actually, I think you need to look at it when you ask me like how they differ, right? You need to look at it like in the past and today, right? Because if you look at Bitcoin wallets maybe 3 years ago, then basically there are wallets like a lot of these Bitcoin wallets like Sparrow Wallet and Electrum and all of the others. And, they're cool. They're Bitcoin wallets. They serve the purpose. They allow you to store your Bitcoin, maybe transfer it, make transfers, etc. But they're really hard to use because they're actually made by developers for developers, because the traditional users of Bitcoin, those are like the enthusiasts and people that actually understand much more about how the development works, etc. So when you look up some of the traditional wallets from the past, you would be quite surprised that it's actually not very easy to start using them. Like I personally, when we started looking into ordinals, I was trying many different wallets, and I tried Sparrow, for instance, because that was the wallet that everybody talked about. Hey, use Sparrow for ordinals, right? And, I think I understand these things pretty well. I'm not an engineer, but I think I can use products. I'm a product guy. I'm using everything I can on the internet. And I was really struggling to figure it out. I had to Google a lot. I had to ask a lot of my friends, and I had to spend maybe 5-6 hours to really like open the wallet and make sure that it works properly. And then I started talking with people about how could I actually transfer these ordinals from Sparrow. And they tell me, oh yeah, man, unless you understand the coin control and how to like specifically choose the SAT where the ordinal is attached, like you're actually going to mess it up and you're going to lose the ordinal. So like, don't do that unless you really know what you're doing, And so that was kind of the state of the wallets in the past. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about these wallets because they have their place, they have their purpose, they have their community, they have their users, and they're not made for ordinals. They're made for different things, but they also support ordinals because it's still Bitcoin, right? And so that was kind of in the past. And, what we have seen kind of like, obviously over the past couple of months, and we have been building in the space for the past 2 years. And, when we started Xverse, we basically went into this with a mission that we basically want to make Bitcoin wallet super easy to use, super friendly. We want to make a mobile experience, the best mobile experience you can find. And we want to make even better mobile experience than you can find on other chains, And so that was kind of the vision that this company started with. And so now you actually have wallets like Xverse, and there are others. Obviously, you probably heard about Hero, and you probably heard maybe about like Unisat Wallet or Ordinals Wallet, or you name it. There's few of these companies today. And so these wallets are now actually pretty easy to use. Like you can download the app, you can get the extension, and you can set it up. You obviously get your seed phrase, etc., because not your keys, not your crypto. I think this is very important, guys. Like, obviously you want to make sure that you always save your seed phrase, in a safe spot, that you never forget it. And like nobody can really take control of your crypto, etc., or, you lose access, then basically game over, right? So you really want to make sure that those things kind of are well understood. But yeah, those products are now super easy to use, So that's kind of like what we do as well with Xverse. And, we're really trying to make sure that we can onboard people that maybe are not really familiar with Bitcoin. They're not really familiar with like, how to do these things. Like we want to abstract a lot of the complexities and just make it the same as MetaMask or as Phantom on other chains. So that's kind of like, I'm going to stop here if you have any further question. But yeah, that's kind of how I would look at wallets.
I was going to say, I'm hoping for higher aspirations than the same as MetaMask.
But absolutely, I'm so happy you're saying that. I mean, obviously, we want to take over the world, but huge respect to MetaMask because what they have done is incredible. They're still the biggest wallet out there, and we look up to them, and so there's nothing bad we can really say about them at this point. We aspire to be better, but obviously it's going to take us some time. But ultimately, yeah, like we're just what I mean by, let's say, creating MetaMask for Bitcoin is basically creating a smooth experience, right? You just go to a website, you log in, sign in with your wallet, you click on 3 things, and you're ready to go. You don't have to like really complicate things. You don't have to do any copy pasting. You don't have to, figure out like, how do I send the Bitcoin from this wallet to that wallet? Oh, I cannot even scan QR code because this is not supported. That's everything we want to eliminate, right? So that's what I mean by that.
Yeah. And typical internet, we're getting a little bit of problem with the connection here, but it's okay at the moment. But you might want to think about exiting any other apps that you've got open that maybe you can kill, just to
Let me do it.
preserve a little bit of bandwidth. But it's okay. It's still perfectly good to hear.
Okay. I hope so. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
No, that's great. A great overview of kind of wallets. So I think what I'd like to get into, because I want to give some people just a quick visual walkthrough, and you guys have a pretty awesome walkthrough of how to set up an Xverse wallet. And I know I've set up Hero wallets, and obviously MetaMask. So I think that the process is fairly similar. So just want to let people know, like, don't be afraid. If you want to set up an Xverse wallet, you want to set up a Hero wallet, it's actually quite simple and quite similar to setting up a MetaMask wallet. And if you've never set up a wallet, it's still incredibly simple. It's just a few, maybe like 3 or 4 steps. So we've got an awesome blog here on the Xverse website. So I want to let Jan, walk us through this real quick.
Yeah, definitely. So like, if you go to that blog post, and guys, if you cannot hear me at some point, just let me know and we're going to try to figure it out. But it seems my connection should be okay right now.
Yeah, you're good. Kind of crystal clear.
So, basically, Mike, you got it, right? So most of these wallets that, again, focus on the user experience, that are similar to other wallets on different chains, they all kind of function very similarly in terms of like, how do you actually get the wallet? So, with Xverse, the only difference is, and I think this is kind of what also like, one of the things that actually sets us apart in the Bitcoin ecosystem is that we're the only wallet that is on iOS and Android, and as well as supports all these Web3 applications, ordinals, and everything else, And so basically, you can do extension. You can go to the website, xverse.app. You can go to download, and you will see you can download either the extension or you can download the apps, the mobile apps. And basically, once you actually get it going, then pretty standard process. So you need to make sure you follow all the steps. You're gonna kind of get your seed phrase, right? You're gonna create your seed phrase, and obviously, you should never share the seed phrase with anyone. You should store it in a place that it's safe, that you have access to it. It's not stored on your computer, because obviously your computer can get hacked or something. And if somebody gets access to your seed phrase, then again, they can get access to all of your assets, right? And so that's something that you 100% always want to make sure that you double check, you write it down, maybe use some of those wallets where you can actually put it into steel, right? Like you actually have some of these solutions that even if, let's say, there is a fire somewhere, like it still survives, especially if you have a lot of assets in these digital wallets, right? So that's really something that like we should always keep repeating and repeating and repeating before there is a better solution. Obviously, there is a lot of teams working on different solutions. How can we actually eliminate the seed phrase, and how can we use different ways to make this super safe, but much more easier to use? I think those things are gonna come to life probably this year, maybe early next year. But for now, basically making sure that you always back up your wallet, you have the seed phrase, you have it in a safe place, you don't share it with anyone ever, then that's basically the second step, I would say. And then for Xverse specifically, obviously you set up a PIN, a password. On mobile you can also use like the fingerprints or like your Face ID, etc. And then obviously what you want to do next, if we talk about getting ordinals, you want to send some Bitcoin to that wallet, because you're going to be buying ordinals with your Bitcoin, or you're going to be inscribing the ordinals with your Bitcoin. because you will have to pay for the transaction fees. You will have to, go to marketplaces like Gamma, Magic Eden, and many others, and basically buy those ordinals there, right? And so that's kind of like the basics, how you set up the wallet. I think, we kind of went through it. We can share the link to this article, for you guys if you just want to kind of study it more. But
yeah. No, that's great. On step 4, funding your wallet. So I think this is a common question. What are some of the ways in which people can fund wallets? So I know I use Coinbase. You can use any centralized exchange, basically to buy your Bitcoin, and then you send the Bitcoin to this wallet. But yeah, maybe if you just want to kind of walk through the couple of ways you can fund a wallet.
Yeah, there's a couple ways, as you mentioned. So, the kind of the most user-friendly is that you can actually buy crypto in the wallet. Many wallets actually have this option, so we do as well. So you can, we partner with Binance, MoonPay, and Transact, and so you can actually go click on buy crypto. You can KYC with one of these services. If you're a user already, you can just log in and basically just easily buy crypto directly and use it within the wallet. Obviously, I understand maybe it's not for everyone. Maybe some regions are, kind of some regulations, etc. So it's much more harder to use. So then what you want to do, as you said, you go to your exchange, to your preferred exchange, be it Binance, Coinbase, like whatever guys you prefer to use. It's a centralized exchange. You buy some Bitcoin, and you can then easily just send it to your wallet, right? Because, every single exchange will allow you to send it to any kind of Bitcoin address. And so that's what you do with Xverse or any other wallet as well. You just locate your Bitcoin address inside of the application, inside of the extension, send it from a centralized exchange, and you're basically ready to go. And obviously it takes some time before you receive the Bitcoin. No, it's not instant. Like that's maybe like one difference that is like important to kind of understand if you're new to Bitcoin, if you're new to Ordinals, because the blocks are much slower, right? So if the Bitcoin chain is not busy, it usually takes around 10 minutes or maybe a little bit less to receive the Bitcoin or to confirm the specific transaction. But if the Bitcoin chain is super busy, as like over past couple weeks, you may actually need to wait a lot longer, or you may need to bump up the fee to make sure that your transaction is a priority for the miners, right? And so we already discussed that. We can answer any questions if there are any on this topic, but that's the kind of only difference, that sometimes you may need to wait for that Bitcoin a little bit longer.
Oh, don't know what that was coming through.
Oh, that was me. I clicked on the YouTube link. Apologize.
Oh, dear, man.
All good.
Someone just asked for the actual URL for the Xverse. So it's obviously xverse.app. And I just wanted to say one security tip. Do not use the sponsored links at the top of Google. That is a spammer's paradise and a conner's paradise, that they buy the keywords for some of these critical things. So take your time. There are links. Go to the official Twitter account and things like that. Go to the Onchainmonkey website and look at the Git book. But yeah, never use those sponsored links.
Yeah, don't do that, because we as companies, we are not even in charge of those things. We cannot control those things. As you said, Andy, people can actually overpay for the keywords, and then something scammy, fishy can be there, even if it's there for a couple hours before Google takes it down, whatever, it can be really dangerous. And so you definitely always want to make sure that, you double check, triple check, that, you go to official Twitter accounts, you go to official kind of channels to look for these websites and links to different kind of, I would say even pages or things, right? And always kind of one more tip, this is not related to wallets at all, but since we touched on this topic, I mean, it's always important to mention that is things happen, right? Like people's Twitter can get hacked, companies' Twitters can get hacked. We have seen it many, many, many times in the past. And so if you see something on the Twitter feed of a company that looks weird, suspicious, or it's too good to be true, whatever, don't FOMO into these things. just like go verify. Don't click on things that like, sound kind of strange. Like, hey, I've never seen this from Xverse. Like, why is it here? Like, don't click on stuff, even though, it sounds like super amazing, because you never know, right? Like we have seen it before. People's Twitter account got hacked, and unfortunately, people got hurt, and companies' accounts got hacked, and it unfortunately happens often in crypto. So you always have to be, wary of these things, and just make sure that you double check, triple check with people in your community.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Safety first.
Safety first, and always, guys. It's so important in this space because you never know. Guys, like I know we have been chatting for like 40 minutes or something, so I also want to make sure that you can go on with your lives and with your days and do something productive. But I would love to show you the wallet. So if I can share my screen, guys, real quick, I would love to show you a couple things that
absolutely.
I think you guys are going to find interesting. So let me share my screen, and you tell me if everything is good, if you can see it, if you can hear me. And if yes, I'd love to show you something.
Yeah, perfect. We've got your screen up there now.
Amazing. So guys, I have Xverse Wallet here, and basically, you can see the extension. It looks very similar to these screenshots. Obviously, these screenshots are from the mobile app, so it's going to look exactly the same. It's just going to, obviously have a different feel to it. But I think it's very important here, to kind of like look at when, let's say, you want to get ordinals, what are some of the most important features of the wallet, right? So one of them is your Bitcoin balance, right? So as we mentioned, you want to get some Bitcoin. So, you could buy it. You could buy it here. Let's say you say buy Bitcoin. You could choose one of these services and basically just buy it in the wallet. You could say, okay, I want to receive Bitcoin. You choose the first address, Bitcoin address. Either QR code or you say, okay, I want to copy it. Let's say I'm buying on Binance, or I'm buying on Coinbase, and so I'm going to go to that Coinbase wallet, and I'm going to enter this Bitcoin address and send the Bitcoin to your Xverse wallet or any other wallet that you're using. Again, they all work similarly. And so that's another thing that is important. And then what is important is here in the second tab, this is the tab of collectibles, right? So you can already see I have some ordinals here and there, also some like BRC20s here and there. And basically, this is how you can receive ordinals. So we do it on purpose. We have separate wallets, right? Separate addresses. So you have address for Bitcoin payments, which is separate from the address for ordinals. And I will tell you why. So number one reason is that the normal Bitcoin addresses, they don't necessarily support ordinals, So you need to have a specific taproot address to be able to see your ordinals. You can still send them to any kind of Bitcoin address, but unless that address supports ordinals specifically, you're not going to be able to see them, and you may actually lose them because the wallet doesn't recognize that ordinal in that specific address. And so then you can kind of send it together with your payment, with the fees, right? Because it's still Bitcoin. We discussed ordinals are attached to Satoshi, which is Bitcoin, right? So it kind of functions in the blockchain. The blockchain doesn't really know that you have ordinal. It just knows, okay, this is Satoshi and I'm sending it somewhere. And so you need a specific wallet address that supports ordinals. So that's why we have these two different addresses. It's also for the safety, and I will explain why and what do I mean by safety. So I will give you a couple examples, right? So let's say you got an ordinal and unfortunately you send it to a wrong address. You send it to this Bitcoin address, So what do we do in Xverse is actually pretty interesting. So I will show you. So let's say, okay, I'm gonna use this address, and I'm gonna say, okay, I want to send Bitcoin, right? I want to send a little bit of Bitcoin to this address, right? I'm going to do next. But Xverse knows, hey, there is an ordinal in that address, even though you cannot see it because, that specific address doesn't support it. But we know we can detect it because you made a mistake. And we give you this warning, hey, by the way, you have an ordinal in this Bitcoin address. Please make sure that you take that inscription and you transfer it to the Ordinals address where you can actually view it. You can easily transfer it from there, and you're actually not going to be able to lose it as a fee for a transaction that you're going to be sending from that Bitcoin address. So this is kind of like how it works, right? So this is one of those things. And in general, like, yeah, if you go and like say receive the Ordinal, you can just copy paste. You can also use the QR code. And let's say if you go to a marketplace, I can show you right now. So if you want to get an Ordinal, let's say let's go to Magic Eden, okay? Because I've been there actually just today, so I can just show you how it works, how the flow works. So if you want to get an Ordinal from a marketplace like Magic Eden, you can see that I'm already logged in, but I'm going to sign out. What Xverse allows you to do, you just see, okay, I like this Ordinal, or I like this Launchpad, whatever. So like I can just open it, and I'm going to be like, okay, this one is not live yet, but let's say, okay, let's go to Bitcoin Frogs, right? So Bitcoin Frogs, and if it's going to load, I don't know why it's so slow, but I guess it's loading, still loading. Let me try something else. Okay, Bitcoin pizzas are loading faster. So what I can do here, I can just say, okay, I want to connect the wallet. So I will choose Xverse because that's what I'm using. I'm just going to approve. I'm connected with my wallet to the marketplace. And then what I can do is I can just, okay, I want to select one of these Ordinals. Apologize for the internet connection. It's not really going through, but I can just say, okay, I want to buy this Ordinal now. And I just click, and basically there's going to be like one or two transactions. Okay, I don't have enough money to buy it. So as you can see, I cannot buy this Ordinal. But basically, if I had enough money, I could just click buy. I could sign one or two transactions, and I'm basically ready to go. And then everything is automatic. You don't have to worry about it. The Ordinal inscription is going to land in your wallet directly, in that specific Ordinals address that is actually made for that, because we have this API that all of these different marketplaces connect to, and everything is automatic. You're not even going to be able to make a mistake to send it to a wrong address, And so this is kind of how it works, with Ordinals. I'm gonna stop here, guys. If you have any specific questions or anything that you would like me to cover, let's get into it.
Quick one from the audience. So Yogi asked a question, and obviously you do work for Xverse. So, but if you could give us your opinion, for OCM Dimensions, which wallet would you recommend? They've got Hero now, but looking at Xverse.
Yeah, obviously, guys, like I can say, okay, I'm biased here because, and sorry, I'm gonna stop sharing because we see this craziness. So obviously, again, like I would 100% recommend Xverse because I think we are the most easy to use, and also you have a choice that you can either do extension, you can do a mobile wallet, so you can have it on iOS, Android, and it's very sleek experience. You can have it at your fingertips, etc. So, that's something that I would 100% recommend. And I would for you all want to just at least try it, right? Like just go try different wallets and see which one like really fits your style, right? Like, I would 100% just like objectively recommend all of you guys, like, hey, if you're not sure, go download all of them, so, it's us, it's Hero. You probably heard about Hero. There is Unisat as well. So you can go to their website and you can check their extension wallet and just play around with those wallets and see which one you like the most, because what is the most important thing about these wallets in general is like they have to support Ordinals. Like that's the only thing you need for OCM collections. Like you cannot do just the normal Bitcoin wallet that doesn't have a Taproot address, that doesn't have an Ordinals address, because that's not going to work. If you are technical enough, you can even use Sparrow Wallet, So if you are more technical and if you really enjoy that kind of raw experience of like tinkering around, then like go ahead, use Sparrow. Like I'm not gonna tell you, hey, only use Xverse because this is the only option. Obviously, it's not. And I would just love for you to try many of these options and just stick with the one that you like the most. I think that's the way to go with any product out there.
Yeah, I mean, I want the safest, most idiot-proof, user-friendly one. That's my key sort of thing, is always going to be that. What's the best one that helps me not do the nightmare thing of accidentally paying a tiny amount of Bitcoin but losing all my ordinals.
Yeah, I can also actually, let me share one more thing, because since guys are asking which one is more like easy to use or which one is more user friendly, I can show you a couple more things that we have in Xverse that nobody else has, which is, let's say you make another type of mistake, and so you're not sending Ordinal to the Bitcoin address, but let's say you send Bitcoin to the Ordinals address, because that can also happen. Again, it's okay because it's still a Bitcoin address. It's just like, probably, maybe not the right way to go about it, or maybe that's not really what you want to do, but you made a mistake. What you can do in Xverse, you can go to settings. You can say, okay, I want to recover assets. And so we give people option very easily. Let's say, okay, I made a mistake. I want to recover BTC from your Ordinals address. Obviously I don't have any there. Otherwise I would see here, okay, I have a BTC I want to recover. Boom, in one click, you can recover that BTC. And the same thing for recovering the inscription. As you can see, I did this on purpose just to showcase this feature to you guys. I have one inscription that is in the BTC address. And so I can just easily transfer it where it belongs, And so that's just something that we're really trying to make it as user-friendly as possible, because we know people do make mistakes. Even though we kind of educate them how to use those wallets, still people kind of make mistakes. And we on purpose separate those wallets because, or those addresses, because, you actually need to spend Bitcoin on every transaction. So let's say I want to go to this Ordinal and I want to send it to somebody. So I will fill out some Bitcoin address. I will go next and confirm the transfer. I actually need to pay for the network fee again. It's not for free, right? Like, it still is a Bitcoin transaction. And so you need to spend the fee. And so on purpose, we separate it. So you're actually not spending the Bitcoin from the Ordinals address, but you're spending it from this Bitcoin payment address, so that you're always safe to make sure that even though you make millions of transfers, there is never a chance for you to accidentally spend your Ordinal, which is attached to a SAD, as a fee, right? And so this is kind of like one of those things that we try to think about when it comes to making these solutions or creating these solutions, because people think about these things and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just think like, they don't even want to think about how it works, but they just want to make sure it works. And so we're trying to make solutions that don't really allow people to make mistakes easily, And so that's kind of like one of the things that I think is important. And otherwise, yeah, like go try them all and see which one you like the most. That's kind of like how I would end this.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. The best way to kind of figure out which wallet works for you is to use them all, try them all out. But I'm super excited about what you guys are doing at Xverse, enabling mobile functionality, making it super clear, the different types of balances, regular fungible Bitcoin sats and the non-fungible sats. So I love that. So yeah, this has been a really great conversation. I did promise some info on dimensions. So I don't know, Mr. Yellow, if you can bring up the dimensions page, because I want to let people know, if they haven't before, check out the page, and let people know about this upcoming collection that we have, because it's super exciting. I'm like, we have I think another sort of like first of its kind collection here. So this is the dimensions page, and what you can see here is that the rendering quality of these NFTs, they're actually it's 3D generative art, coming straight off of the Satoshi that they're inscribed on. It's really not something that I think you'll see on the Bitcoin network. And what's amazing is the efficiency, the scalability with which our engineering team, led by Danny Yang, a legendary Bitcoiner, what they've been able to do and get this high quality animated art on Bitcoin. And so if you scroll down a little bit, so if you're interested, the first three, it's going to be a supply of 2,500, but the first 300 are going straight to Bitcoin. And in order to mint these, you can click that button just above there that says apply for the mint list. And I want to go through that just real quickly in a second here, but just a couple bullet points. So Dimensions, it really is a first of its kind. It's the pinnacle of art, technology, and innovation, matching all of these things and bringing them to Bitcoin. They're going to be inscribed on rare Satoshis from January 2009. That's the month that Bitcoin first transactions were launched. So people who are rare Sat hunters are going to be very excited about that. It's going to be, these 300 are based on a set of our Genesis collection. It's going to use the meta traits or the metadata, the DNA of this subset of Genesis that has never seen the light of day before. These are coming from the MetaGood Reserve. And there are some very, very rare Genesis in there. So if you're not familiar with our Genesis collection, the rare Genesis command an extremely high premium on Ethereum. So getting to mint one of these 300 gives you a very good shot at getting like a super rare Dimensions, which is going to be like very sought after. You got gold furs, you got alien furs, you got laser eyes, and a little bit of alpha. Those rarest traits have special treatments in Dimensions. So as you saw in the trailer earlier, we could see some gold and some alien furs. Those actually have these amazing animated coins that are swirling around, and that's because those are ultra rares. So we'll be releasing some more info on those rare traits next week. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, if you want to just quickly click on the apply for mint list, this only takes a few minutes. And so I just want to show people what you'll be seeing when you go there. So yeah, if you can click in there. Mr. Yellow? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. I was getting a pop-up from a wallet. I need to change screens as well, don't I? I'd change.
No worries.
I'm just going to go for the window entire screen. That's easier.
No worries.
Yeah.
Perfect. So actually, it looks like you've already gone through. So this is the final step where you just have to connect your wallet. It's either a Hero or an Xverse wallet. And in order to actually be selected for the list, you'll have to fund that wallet with 0.08 Bitcoin. And of course, when you go to mint on mint day, which is May 31st, you will actually have to have a little bit of Bitcoin for the transaction fee, but it's going to be a very minimal amount. So 0.08 and just a little bit for the fee, and you're good to go. And we actually just announced our first 3 of the 300 yesterday. We're going to be announcing on a rolling basis. So the sooner you get your wallet funded, the better you have a chance of getting selected. And just in general, this is a very quick process. It starts off with a tweet. It's an optional tweet, but we've seen so many people tweeting this out. It's amazing. And then a quick survey, and then connecting a wallet, and then funding that wallet, and you're good to go. So really, really excited for people who are signed up already. We've got a lot of demand for this, so it's going to be a really exciting event to see these 300 mint out.
Yeah, we've got apologies about that. I have done the first 2 bits and then realized I needed A, a wallet, and B, Bitcoin. We got a question from a holder. Can a hardware wallet be set up with the BTC wallets, aka Ledger?
Jan, I'm gonna go to you on that one.
Yeah, so guys, with Ledger, it's a little bit problematic. We're actually working with them because setting up Ledger for Bitcoin itself is easy. That's already possible. But setting up Ledger for Ordinals is actually, it requires a little bit different kind of integration on the Ledger side. And so we have been working with Ledger or on the integration with Ledger for a while. We have it ready as a wallet, but right now we're just troubleshooting with the Ledger team to hopefully make it work. And I'm actually speaking about this with Danny as well, because Danny has been very helpful on this side. And so hopefully, I'm just hoping that Ledger is going to support us and we're going to make it happen relatively soon. But otherwise, we're also looking in other solutions. If let's say Ledger is not going to be possible to set up relatively soon, we may actually go to different providers or, like find an alternative solution, So I think stay tuned, because once this happens, I think most of the wallets are going to adopt it anyways. And definitely people from Onchainmonkey are going to let you know, because I fully agree. If you're buying an ordinal for how much is it, Mike? 0.08
Bitcoin.
0.08 Bitcoin, it's still a lot of money, right? So you want to make sure that your ordinal is safe, So I like the question about hardware wallets. Right now, unfortunately, it's not possible, but we're working super hard to making it happen. So just make sure that you kind of follow for the updates, and we're going to let you know once it's possible.
Awesome. Well, yeah, this has been an amazing conversation. I've definitely learned something from Jan, as I always do when I meet with him. Great questions coming from Mr. Yellow. Great questions coming from our audience. I saw the last one was from Rosen, one of our amazing community mods at Onchainmonkey. If you want to learn more about this stuff, if you want to reach out to us, the Onchainmonkey Discord is one of the best places to go. We've always got team members in there. We've got amazing community in there. So we're always happy to answer questions. It doesn't matter if you're brand new, you can hop into the Onchainmonkey Discord and people will help you out. We also have an amazing wiki, which is on the screen right now. And there's some steps here, like some questions to walk through on how setting up a Bitcoin wallet. So we cover both Hero and Xverse on here, which are the two wallets that we're using in our dimensionsless application process. And then I guess on Twitter, you can reach out to me. I'm at Good Things. You can reach out to Jan. I forget your exact
Mike,
Twitter
I need to jump in. I need you to update the information on your site, because you guys say Xverse Wallet is available on Chrome only. We need to make sure that people know it's on mobile as well, so they can get it on iOS, Android, and actually, guys, it's so when you use your extension from Xverse, you can actually use it in Brave as well. So if you go to Brave browser, if that's your preferred option, you can actually basically just go to Xverse, download, and it will automatically work for the Brave browser as well. So you can do both Chrome and Brave.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll get that updated ASAP. Appreciate that. So so reach out to me at Good Things on Twitter. Reach out to Jan.
Let's do it.
Reach out to Mr. Yellow. But we'll be doing some more of these in the near future, I'm sure. But thanks everybody for coming today. And any last closing thoughts, Jan or Mr. Yellow?
Yeah, I feel like we could definitely step it on with a slightly more advanced one and do more Q&A with people. That would definitely be useful. But the biggest question, mate, you teased some alpha.
I did.
I
knew you were going to comment on that. So
I'm excited, guys. I already applied for this thing like the first day that it was possible. So I'm hoping I can get my hands on one of these things. It's amazing what you guys are doing. I'm super grateful that I can be part of this community, and super excited to meet you guys in Miami next week. And I have to say, really, like, I love you guys. I love your community. I love the positive vibes already. I've met you a couple of times, and I can just tell that that's how you guys roll. And again, no matter what, guys, if you want to use Xverse, if you want to use some other wallets, whatever, just make sure that you're safe. Make sure that you ask questions if you're not sure. Just make sure that you don't do anything, quote unquote, like a stupid mistake. Because ultimately, we want you to enjoy this journey, right? We want you to have fun. We want you to get, obviously a lot of ordinals, but just make sure that you're always safe, you know. And if you're investing money into these things, make sure that you're not investing money that you're not willing to lose, you know, like, or that you cannot afford to lose, because you never know what's going to happen, right? With crypto and with NFTs specifically. So just want to put it out. Really, really appreciate you guys. And if you have any questions, just find me on Twitter, DM me, and I would be more than happy to engage with anybody from Onchainmonkey community.
Awesome. No, thanks so much, Jan, for coming. Thanks, Mr. Yellow, for hosting. And yeah, we'll definitely be talking to people. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of excitement and a lot of questions around this as we gear up towards the Dimensions launch, which again is happening on May 31st. So I did tease some alpha earlier. So I think the alpha that I kind of mentioned is basically that, like, these rare traits. So we've already seen the gold and the alien furs. Next week we're going to see some laser eyes. Trevor, actually one of Jan's good friends and co-hosts of the Ordinals show, actually dropped some alpha last week on our OCM After Dark that Danny gave him when they were in Austin for Consensus. And the laser eyes are actually going to have like beaming lasers coming out of the Dimensions monkey. And so we'll see that next week. And then, so basically that's eyes 22 and eyes 21 are both going to have these amazing lasers. And there's other like packed features in Dimensions. So yesterday we saw the interactivity of Dimensions. You can actually like refresh, because it's code, so you can refresh it live, and it's just basically regenerating the code on Bitcoin as you're interacting with it. So this is really, really innovative stuff, and I think this collection is going to be looked at as, you know, a big innovation leader, and it's going to be exciting. So yeah, thank you everybody again, and we'll talk real soon, I'm sure.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great one.
Cheers.
Take it easy, everyone.